Hi, welcome to the MuleSoft tutorials. In previous lecture, we have gone through the transform message, and in this lecture, we'll go through the local deployment. We'll try to deploy the services on local, and also we'll try to debug those services. So before starting this lecture, I will need to create a new project. I will go to File, New, Mule Project. Here, I will give the project name. Let's say project name is local deployment. Click on Finish. This will create a new project, local deployment. Inside that, this will also create a local deployment.xml. So before starting, I will add one HTTP over here. I need to configure this HTTP, so I'll click on plus, do it for localhost 8081, click on save. Now there is no error. Yeah, so remember one thing, if we are using more than one HTTP listeners, the port should be different, or the base path of that particular HTTP listener is different. So currently I'm using 8081. If I want to use 8080 again HTTP with the 8081, the same local host, this will throws an error that address already bind. So let's take an example. I will do a transform message. I will transform, let's say it's application Java. I will do name site dash Akash Ranglani. Click on save. Then I will put one logger. I will print payload, save it. Then I will put one object to JSON transformation, and here I will put nothing. Right now it's give me a JSON format, and then I will try to log the JSON format hash payload. Now if you want to convert JSON to XML, we can use it. We can convert that using the JSON to XML transformation, and again I will log it. So in this project, what we have done is we get one input as a transformer in a application Java, and then we log that. Then we are converting that application Java to a JSON object to JSON using object to JSON transformation, and then again we are logging it, and then from JSON to XML, then again we are logging it. So before deploying, few things we need to note down, like mule app.properties, what this contain. Right now I will open this. This will be nothing, empty. So this property is used whenever we are trying to deploy the services on local on server. This property is the first thing which is initialized. And when you go to the muleproj.xml, and I will, so currently the default domain by the MuleSoft is the default. As in a previous lecture, I told you that we can create our own domain project and we can attach those domain project to our project. Here the runtime service 3.9, we can change it to 3.8. So for that we need to install 3.8 server on this, and then we can use 3.8. Here are the environment variables. These are the variables which are initialized when we deploy the service on local or a server. In mule deploy.properties, you can find all the resources which are there, the domain name, the default encoding is UTF-8, and the redeployment is enable. So this property is basically when I save the something on XML, it automatically redeploy my project on local. So to deploy it, we'll click on the local deployment project, go to run as. We can deploy it as a debug also. So first we'll go through run as mule application. I will save it. Okay, so this will basically deploy my application on local and do all the stuff, initialize the variables and everything. And then after the successful deployment, we can see that we can run that particular application. So still it's deploying. You can wait for a minute. Okay, so it's successfully deployed. The domain, you can see that it's default right now. Domain is also deployed successfully. Now we can go to Postman and try to hit this API. Okay, so here you can see a info log. Yeah, so there we have one Akash Ranglani as a Java object. Here we have Akash Ranglani as a JSON object. And here, if I have not written anything on the logger, it will show all the things. So to check it, you can check on the here. So you can see in XML format. So if the same thing I want to do and deploy using a debug mode, I need to stop the first one to go to the local deployment. To start on a debug mode, first we need to put a debug point. That is, you can say the toggle point. So right click on any of the connector, click on the toggle breakpoint. There's a breakpoint over here, you can see, and then right click on the my service and debug as mule application. This will deploy my application on debug mode so that I can debug and see how things are going. This asking me to change the perspective. I will say no right now. Right now I will go to console and check whether it's successfully deployed or not. So still going on. Yeah, it's successfully deployed. Now I go to the Postman. I will hit it, and when I go back to over here, it's tell me you can switch to the perspective. So we'll switch to the debug perspective. So in debug perspective, you can see a few things like can go down over here. There's a mule debugger. We can check the inbound variables, outbound session variables, record variables, and the payload value. Right now the payload is null. So these are the three things with this next process F6. Run that particular process F7, and to go to the next toggle point F8. So I will click on this thing. This basically transform this, and then name equals to Akash in a linked hash map. Again, I click on this. In a log, I printed the same value right now I have in linked hash map. Click on next. I have the same thing on JSON right now, and then I click on next. JSON is the input, and then click on again next. Now we have the same thing in XML right now, and then click on next. Finish. So this completed the flow. We can stop it right now. We can check our console that the loggers are there with the respective outputs, and we can also see on Postman that yeah, we have output as an XML. So in this way we can deploy things on local as well as on local via direct run or using a debug mode. So that's it for today's lecture. Yeah, we can go more on next lecture. Thank you. Bye.